Hello, welcome back to the Alexandrian Codex. This nice tea. I'm playing the Kaiserreich mod for Hearts of Iron 4. This is the .08 alpha build for the mod. I'm contributing fucking nothing to this war. How? Japan, how are you killing people? Where did you land? Oh. Crime spree sweeps the nation, goddammit. As American spirals ever deeper into chaos, there has been a wave of crime throughout the country. Many of these criminals are getting sensationalist news stories about their activities, especially gangsters like John Dillinger and the scandalous Bonnie and Clyde. Thankfully, the Bureau of Investigation has been working hard to catch these criminals and bring some order back to America. So stop right there, criminal scum! Oh.
Attention.
Alright, we have basic radio, which is not really anything to get excited about. It's almost 1937, so I'm tempted to start researching 37 techs. What year is this? Oh, that's way ahead of time. We're not using any of these. We can't afford to. God, land doctrine and naval doctrine are pretty tempting. Land doctrine more so. Superior firepower doctrine tends to be my favorite thing to go down, generally speaking, though the mass assault doctrine has quite a lot. This will be really good if we get in the Civil War, but I prefer to just not get in the Civil War. So let's try this. Superior firepower doctrine. Fingers crossed we won't regret going down that chain.
Listen up.
We'll find out. Can I add this? No. We know too little about the region we have. Okay. I could split the fleet up, and maybe I should split the fleet up because this fleet's fucking huge. We haven't had a single fleet combat. I think this war is going to be won without us. If it is, I'm just going to hand everything over to Fengtian, because they have claims on it. And just... yeah, Japan would hand things over to Fengtian. Great. Violence against politicians. For some time, violence has mostly been between supporters of various parties. However, recently the violence is now reaching candidates and politicians themselves. Attempts on the lives of both Huey Long and Jack Reed have occurred, though both failed. Several more local politicians have been stabbed through campaign rallies, though, moreover, many from both extremes are turning a blind eye to violence done to their enemies. Oh, good. Good, great. Yeah, fucking great.
Orders.
I guess we could have preempted this. The fall of Shanghai. It's been over 70 years since a Chinese person could stand on the Bund and truly call it their own. But thanks to the effort of Fengtian troops, a new flag flies proudly over the top of the customs building. Despite the city's international protections, victory came somewhat easily as Shanghai police forces and limited garrison could do little resistance against a real army. The general population barely resisted, and their non-cooperation cannot have aided the already bare-bone defenses. The international city's future now seems unclear, and its prosperity has always been built on the backs of trade, foreign investment. Uncertainty reigns, and the futures of the city's foreign residents are also in doubt. Will the chaos in China never end? Well, Shanghai's fallen, so there goes the war. So I could take all states, but that's not fair because I didn't do jack shit, so all of this is going to Fengtian, right? Fengtian is taking everything. Yep. Well, that was a huge waste of our time. Time to go home, boys.
Attention.
I joined a war that we technically won. Even though we did nothing to contribute to the war effort, I still can say I contributed. Yep, you're just gonna go garrison Washington, General Harding, you're out of here. Get unassigned. Welcome back, General Harding. Hope you had a fun time over there in the Pacific. Y'all are going back to Boston. Boston Harbor. Yeah, good. Yeah. No, I was excited to go to war, because being at war opened up some possibilities for us. But the Japanese, I'm actually pretty happy the AI were good at that. I've seen Japan at war with the legation cities or the Triad Syndicate and not done anything for years before, so I'm happy to see that the AI handled that better than they used to.
Listen up.
Yeah, that was an interesting scene for us. There's some interesting stuff that could have happened there if we had troops in the area, etc, 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 but it's fine. It's really not a big deal. Mostly I'm interested in avoiding the fucking Civil War. Submarine development. Submarines allow us to wreak havoc on enemy shipping and heavy ships. We should ensure our designs stay up to date against enemy destroyers and anti-submarine tactics. Very exciting. Because I'm not making any submarines right now. And you know what? I might actually... No, I'm not going to. I was about to say I might actually purge the submarines and other ships from our fleet that we're not building more of, but why not just keep them around until they sink, huh? Yeah, the Americans technically intervened in the Qing reoccupation, because you are Qing. No. The Fengtian reoccupation of the legation cities, but the United States never actually landed any troops. We did provide naval support, but that's about it. If only the way that naval combat or naval landings worked in Hoi 4 was as easy as it was in EU4, because then I could have just loaded some Marines on our Navy, moved that over, gotten this over with by now. So, the results are finally coming in from what has probably been the most ideologically contested presidential election in the United States has ever witnessed. None of the three major parties have secured enough votes in the Electoral College to outright win the presidency. As a result, the House of Representatives has, once again, to vote on the winner of the election. It's probably not the end of our problems, but for the time being, victory goes to Floyd Olson of the National Unity Party. So I want to see this new feature of the tree. Yeah. Well, we're very near the end of 36, so starting to research some 1937 tech wouldn't be too outlandish. No, let's do I want heavy fighters? I will eventually want tactical bombers. Yeah, so okay, that's not a complete waste of time. Land doctrine, we're already doing naval doctrine. This doesn't do much for us immediately, but it's only going to take 71 days. Why not? It'll be done by in early 1937, so we can hit it then.
Listen up.
How are we doing on supplies? Wait, how are we doing here? We're doing okay. If I wanted to change to infantry divisions, holy shit, I need a lot more infantry equipment. Not really all that much more towed artillery. Yeah, well, that's not a huge surprise. If we drop that down, keep that up. Redouble our efforts to make some fucking... the American First leadership contested the results of the election. They claim Reed had rigged the election. They demanded a recount. The leadership of the Socialist Party of America refused to accept the results of our free and fair election, claiming the Electoral College system has subverted the will of the majority. both of those are too real. Floyd Olson, despite his rural upbringing, Floyd Olson has been able to see the great diversity in America through travel and activism. Shabos Goy, a IWW stevedore, and finally an attorney, pushed Olson towards progressivism in 1920s. Olson managed to fall into the Farmer Labor Party after the Progressive Party failed to reach the ballot boxes in 1924. Olson worked tirelessly for the next decade in order to gain allies for the Farmer Labor, stopping only to seek treatment for stomach ulcers in 1930. A surprising influential governor of Minnesota, a national advocate for peace, catapulted him into the White House on a bipartisan ticket against radicalism. Yeah, we're gonna have a bad time. President Hoover supports new president. Herbert Hoover threw support behind incoming President Floyd Olson and hoping that he would be able to hold the country together in these tough times. Doubt it. Elections in Italy. The elections within the Republic of Italy have resulted in the election of Prime Minister Gabriele D'Annunzio? Republic of Italy. So which was Republic of Italy? No. Two Sicilies. No. Right. The Republic of Italy is, okay, we'll find it. New Prime Minister has quickly discarded the title of Prime Minister for the title of Il Duce! Yeah. Okay. Alright, yeah, that's why I couldn't see it. Which he says is more fitting for Italia. In a speech in Milan, he has stated, oh yeah, you do have Milan. Nothing shall ever stand in the way of Italy's greatness, and that the present Black Monday crisis is due to vile Austrian influence, which will eventually be destroyed by the new legions of Italy. Oh yeah, good. Yeah. National populists in Italy? Never seen that before. God, our political power is abysmal. Just because of all these terrible events. And I could have picked options that wouldn't have tanked our political power, but
Listen up.
I'm trying to make intelligent calls here.
Attention.
Oh, we're back from that little trip to Guam. Can you reform the Qing? I can't remember if you can. Oh, no, because the Qing still exists. Right, yeah, the Qing dynasty still exists here. Submarine development, it's done. Excellent. Alright, so victory in the Civil War, fair deal, democracy prevails. Really, I can't do fair deal. National Civil War has been avoided. Listen, I'm trying, okay? New admirals, maritime industry. Yep, alright, let's just keep going down maritime industry. Well, not nearly as historically significant as the East Coast, we still have a strong legacy in commercial shipping. We should ensure that this industry supports the war effort. We make trade convoys, submarines, destroyers, cruisers, armored cruisers, naval bases, and dockyards cheaper, faster. Well, that doesn't necessarily, wholeheartedly feed into my I want to go with heavy ships as the basis of our navy ideology. It's still better. Now, a lot of the fluff in here is just very simple, but it adds a lot to the game. And so much of what Kaiserreich has introduced is this, the setting, the lore of the setting. It's what makes it a lot of fun. I have no idea if we're gonna have the Civil War or not, and that scares the hell out of me. Because as Curtis, I know how to go through the next few months to make sure that we maintain office. I'm sure it must have been changed in the in the latest patch. Well, if nothing else, we're gonna leave our descendants with some bomb-ass naval bonuses. New Year's Day strike. In protest of the election results, the SPA has launched a New Year's Day strike. It's crippled industries in the north. The councils of trade unions have been set up to run the cities of the Steel Belt during the strike. Ooh, that's really bad.
Listen up.
Okay, I can afford that. Can I afford that? Yeah.
Ready to move.
I think I can afford 4 of these. Yeah.
Listen up.
Right, I can only afford to convert. Yeah.
Attention.
Why don't you all start drilling? Because these are green divisions and that's gotta get fixed fast. Production's looking rough. Am I actually constructing things? Yeah, real slowly. Real slowly. But it's happening. Maritime industry is done. Okay, well, I guess... What seems most useful? This is interesting, having more special forces, but we're not doing that. We're not going to be making a lot of naval invasions right now. Later on in the game, absolutely. More naval doctrine is it's fine, but it's not really that worthwhile. The air bases, honestly, might make a difference. It's such a small thing. But ooh, this gives us free anti-air technology. Free tech is worth doing, so let's go down for Air Defense Corps. Why not? U.S. Air Force. Since the first fateful flight in Kitty Hawk Field, the South has been unfairly isolated. We intend to rectify this through a distinguished and sovereign Air Force that will operate outside of the Navy or Army's control. Terrifying. The South has been unfairly isolated. Really? That's an odd way to phrase it. The Venetian revolt. With the recent electoral victory of the right-wing and vehemently anti-Austrian ANI party in the Italian Republic, there's been open sedition in the Veneto region by moderates opposed to the new government. Many regional rebels are now openly calling for the restoration of the Serene Republic of Venice, a famous state that had been conquered in the Revolutionary Wars and ruled alternatively by France, Austria, and Italy ever since. Though it is as yet unclear whether this part of Austrian scheme to further their influence on the peninsula, or represents a legitimate effort by rebels to free themselves from ANI rule, already fighting is breaking out across northern Italy, posing a substantial risk to the Milan government, surrounded as it is by enemies on all sides. Hell yeah, Venice. Fleet and being is done. It's 1937, so that means we can start on these very, very useful industry techs without a being ahead of time penalty associated with it. Floyd B. Olson inauguration. After his election, Olson addressed the nation. Olson called for patience and civility in these times of difficulty, and that all Americans need to come together to overcome the challenges that face the nation. Whether the rest of the nation would listen to the message was another story. Legionnaire Italy has declared war on the Serene Republic of Venice. Let's see how this goes. This normally gets a little dragged out. Crossing the... Shit, is this the Po? Oh, I should know what this river is. Crossing this river tends to be pretty difficult. Olson deals with Reed's strike. Ending the strike that was launched by the CSA was one of the first priorities of the new president. Olson considered negotiation to be the best alternative, but many believed a strong approach was necessary. Negotiation's best! Alright, I'm just doing the same thing that you used to do with Curtis, and I'm hoping that it works out. Germans have put on a fantastic live show, part of Carnival and Live Zoo. It's got over 1,000 authentic African tribesmen and women, exotic animals, despite protests from the city's clergy that the show is dehumanizing, comparing it to a human zoo. The show drew in several million attendees. The new Volkerschau arrives in San Francisco. We get into stability. Deutsche Middle Africa gets the new Volkerschau arrives in San Francisco. Shit, I'll take the stability. Negative 23 stability. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. We are a stable country. Olson and Reed have sat down in Chicago in an attempt to come to some sort of understanding. It would not be easy, as Reed and the CSA have extreme views. Olson hoped, through patient negotiation, he could bring the strike to an end. Huey Long demanded that the America First be involved in the negotiations with Reed to ensure that Olson doesn't give the country away. The presence of Long will no doubt be a negative one, and it may destroy them. Fuck off, Long. You're not an elected representative. You have no business here. You're firepower. You going down this? Nah. Concentrated industry. Reed puts demands to Olson. Reed had many demands to be put into effect. He demanded a livable minimum wage is set, 40-hour work week is set. He also wanted to create a welfare system for the unemployed, give trade unions more power in government to overcome the influence of the rich. I will give influence. I'll implement some of your reforms, not all of them, that last one not so much, but the first two. Long protests the reforms. Wang has seen the reforms as an attack against the very fundamentals of America. He launched a massive protest in the South to put pressure on the government. Olsen wanted to respond, but he didn't want to alienate Reed. Yeah, give Wang what assurances we can. We're not going to give in. MacArthur proposes the assassination of Wang. Wow, you don't even have a don't do it choice in here anymore. MacArthur privately met with the president today and made a shocking proposal. The assassination of Huey Long. Analysis of reports from spies within the America First Party indicated that the entire movement would tear itself apart without his charismatic leadership. And while it might lead to extensive rioting, it was definitely preferable to an organized uprising, which appeared more and more likely as days wore on. Do it. Do it. End him. Now, I think it has a... It always succeeds, or it has a very high chance of success? I can't remember. If he survives here... Yeah, you can choose that he survives. We're not choosing that. It's a short time before noon in Atlanta. Down in Georgia. And Huey Long is delivering a speech in front of the Capitol building. Suddenly, his speech is interrupted by several gunshots. Huey Long is dead. No problem. Fucking dealt with. So Floyd Olsen is just new Curtis. Okay, fair enough. With the death of Huey Long, Atlanta quickly descended into rioting. Protests erupted across the South and Midwest over the course of the day. This is awful, but at least we won't be fighting a civil war. Nope. This is how you avoid the Civil War. You have to assassinate some motherfuckers and side with the syndicalists. Socialism is clearly the only path to a peaceful resolution. Let's with this a little bit. Yeah, there we go. With the America First Party broken as a political force and the combined syndicalists satisfied with our reforms, the political crisis in the country appears to have passed. The world is still a dangerous place. Our focus in foreign affairs will have to be decided eventually, but for now, we can rest easy. God bless the USA! So we got rid of the New Year's strike. And we can finally, fucking finally, start down the Defend America tree, or the Democracy Prevails tree, or the Fair Deal tree. Okay, let's take a look. This would add a lot of stability. Would this add stability? This would fix the Great Depression. I think fixing the Great Depression is... Woo, Brain Trust gives a research slot. Yeah, you know I'm interested in that. Yep, Fair Deal. The Fair Deal is long overdue and hotly debated set of economic reforms Congress passed in 1934. The crisis of 36 appearing to dissipate, it's time for Congress to act effectively to remedy the depression. Else, human sacrifice in the name of peace will be wasted. So we'll start recovering our economy. Start getting rid of the Great Depression. Political crisis will hopefully go away eventually, but we're through all the bad events, so our political power, our stability, our political, or our war support, all of these will slowly start ticking up. Slowly. Since the end of the Austrian occupation in the 1920s, Serbia has officially been a kingdom. They never dared crown a king, as they were forced to keep a low profile. In the light of further Austrian aggression, Peter Bojovic, regent of Serbia for almost 2 decades and a known royalist, has now decided to restore the monarchy. Alexander II, son of former King Peter I, has accepted the crown and was today King of Serbia. Crowned as King of Serbia. This controversial move is likely to upset the Austrian and Bulgarian governments. It's fine. Well, we're through the darkest of it. Europe is not, but we're doing pretty okay. It's 37. Shouldn't Vietnam be at war right now? Did you somehow avoid the Vietnam crisis? You may have. If you did, fucking congratulations. Now, Central America and South America are going to have a lot of stuff going on, so it's the United States. We're not out of the woods yet. Our biggest problem is dealt with, but yeah, plenty more on their way. Well, fuck you, Canada. You can't have New England. The NAACP and FBI defamed socialists. During the 1930s, a large part of the NAACP's activities were taken up by litigating in favor of African American rights. This was due to the retreating strength of the black vote and diminishing ability of African Americans to reach office after Plessy versus Ferguson. This avenue was also pursued by the syndicalist-aligned International Labor Defense, who countered the NAACP for a decade in competition for the hearts of black voters. Seeing no other option, being unwilling to ever compromise with socialists, the NAACP leader Walter Francis White has decided to cooperate with the FBI in an anti-socialist PR campaign. Whether this truly motivates civil rights or further dilutes the current or further dilutes it remains to be seen. So less syndicalists, more social liberals. The National Unity Party, I imagine, must fall apart in the next election, right? Because we're through the Civil War. I'm very curious to see how the Democrats and Republicans split off. Well, now that I'm not worried about the Civil War, I can go ahead and start assigning construction in all these states that would have left us. Yeah, we'll do this in a second. But first I'm just plopping down a bunch of civilian factories, because we're gonna need this to get off the ground. Oh, okay, that's really all I want? Yep, that'll do. The rise of Japan in recent decades massively upset the status quo in East Asia. The annexation of Korea in 1910 to the land of the rising sun was seen as indicative of a new order on the mainland. However, Japanese power is not limitless. The colonization efforts in Korea, Manchuria, Formosa have led to great resentment against their occupiers, leading in the resistance to open revolt on the Korean peninsula. Despite extensive efforts by the Japanese to crack down on the Korean minority in Trans-Amur to dissuade exiles' efforts to gain foreign arms, open rebellion broke out in Korea today as Koreans seized strategic locations across the peninsula. No doubt imperial response will be swift. Few are holding out for a native victory. This happens every time the Joseon Kingdom pops up and gets destroyed. I'd love to see some expansion on this that gives Korea more of a fighting chance, but I mean, they're up against this. They're in a bad state. One important part of this latest patch was the focus tree times for the United States. The times have been cut down from 70 days to like 42 days in most cases, which is a big deal. Listen, I'm doing brain trust. It gives us a research slot. Those are incredibly worthwhile. Wow, these give a ton of civilian factories, infrastructure. God damn, this tree's amazing. Yep, brain trust. The presidential cabinet is not enough to guide the fair deal. His newer economic and industrial techniques have yet to reach the ivory towers of government. The president has appointed a brain trust of law professors and deficit spending economists, all purposely apolitical. Get another research slot, can keep up technologically, hopefully get ahead technologically.
Ready to move.
Let's, okay, so Mexico's looking like they have more or less our force limit, so I'm less afraid of them than I was. Peru-Bolivian Confederation restored. It appears that an old idea has been reborn in South America. The original confederation between Peru and Bolivia, viewed by many regional enemies as a potential threat, was torn asunder by a victorious Chile after a battle of Yungay in 1839. Still, this new confederation could, unlike its predecessor, prove to be able to sustain itself in these unstable times in South America and the wider world. Observers, both overseas and domestic, have noted, however, there are a number of key issues that must be worked out between La Paz and Lima before this new polity can truly be considered a united nation. The dream of Santa Cruz is fulfilled once more. I haven't seen this happen before. That's pretty cool. That's pretty fucking cool. $37. So often there will be a. Oh, who won? Oh, the Saudis won. Okay, fair enough. The Saudis don't always win. The Saudis win most of the time. It's. Yeah. The Rashids win sometime, but the Saudis tend to win a lot of the time in the Arabian Civil War. Or Arabian War. It's not a civil war if they weren't unified. Oh, good. Syndicalism prevails in the Ukraine. After the Weltkrieg, Ukraine became a political battleground between pro-German Hetmanates, the Bolsheviks, Makhno's Free Territory, and many other armed groups. The Hetmanate prevailed, but it turned out to be unpopular among Ukrainians after an agricultural crisis and infamous Black Monday. This hatred reached a breaking point. Famous Ukrainian syndicalist leader Nikita Khrushchev has led his Red militias to dissolve the kingdom and declare the Ukrainian Socialist Republic. Time will tell whether this new entity, I lost my place, will endure a German reaction, though, but this victory has strengthened the far-left positions across the Reichsband. Will Germany attack? We're about to find out. Nope, Germany just let them go. Weird, alright. It's actually a fairly easy war for Germany to win, and a very important one for them to fight. So, Germany's gonna be in bad shape here on out. 1937. I don't want destroyers. These are 39, advanced dreadnought. Let's research this. Once the afterglow of the great dreadnought race had faded away, naval designers took stock of position of dreadnoughts and future planning, discarding speed as a major goal with the understanding new generation of so-called fast battleships would assume that task. These designs instead focus on extreme, unprecedented armor protection. Advanced 16-inch guns could equal the armor penetration of 18 inches, while being less expensive. Drawing lessons from navies possessing heavy ordnance, most of these designs were armed with types of advanced 16-inch guns, or equivalents, normally arranged in 5 triple turrets. Hell yeah. Give me a big ol' heavy navy. Oh, this is so far behind. It's fine. We're just gonna keep making as many guns as we can. Alright, well that's a lot. The Baltic War. For many years, the United Baltic Duchy, set up by the Germans after their conquest of the former Russian governments during the Weltkrieg, has marginalized its native Estonian and Latvian populace. Though the local population has been ruled by local German elites for centuries, the imposition of German ducal structure under Duke Friedrich and policies that favor German settlers and undermine the natives, open rebellion has broken out. National Latvian and Estonian movements have launched attacks across the country, and the duchy has plunged into chaos. The ducal regime's survival is not guaranteed, and the influence this may have on the German sphere in Eastern Europe remains unclear. One thing is for certain, however, and that is that Germany's plans of settlement in the East have been temporarily dashed. Second Internationale. The first Syndicalist Internationale, held in Paris, dealt with the spreading of ideology overseas, supporting syndicalist movements and strengthening ties between existing syndicalist nations. Thanks to gathering successes, the Second Internationale has been called to be held in London. Representatives from the entire world were greeted by a British artillery salute, Scottish bagpipe chorus, and an overall warm reception. As Europe rolls closer and closer to war, military and economic cooperation between the syndicalists is expected to be a primary topic of discussion. France and Britain will once again call the shots on the Internationale's policy. Argentina has declared war on the Patagonian Workers' Front. We get no event about this. Oh, there we go. The Chilean-Argentinian War. Tensions have been running high between the two regional powers for years now as the ideological differences between the nations drove the nations further and further apart. Support by Chile for the FOP in Patagonia and the incapacity of Argentina to quell the rebellion have finally come to blows as joint offensive between the Argentinian army and Armada was met with heavy resistance on the Rio Negro, with Chilean forces opening fire on advancing Argentinian troops. So Argentina's got to fight a 3-front war right here. You know, not impossible if they get foreign intervention, but very likely to lose. They're fighting against syndicalists. Sweden has declared war on the Norwegian Socialist Republic. This is unusual. Gonna give me a pop-up explaining this? Nope. Alright, yeah, just Sweden doing Swedish things. What ideology, Sweden? Social conservatives. Huh, how about that? Yeah, I think Argentina's fucked. Argentina can win this if they get intervention from the Reichspakt or other foreign investors, but it looks like that's not happening here. Syndicalist revolutionaries in Switzerland. Chaotic reports are coming in from the small mountain republic of Switzerland, stating syndicalist revolutionaries have entered the capital Bern. Switzerland has long had a problem with syndicalist activism in western French-speaking regions of Haute-Savoie and Romandy, but never have they had revolutionary forces act so openly against the government. With the speed and effectiveness of revolutionary forces, many suspect the direct involvement of the French Commune, who've long agitated for secession of French-speaking land. While there's fighting in and around other parts of the country, it now seems the syndicalist forces hold the capital for now. Meanwhile, we're done with the brain trust. Yeah, we're researching boat stuff while the rest of the world's falling apart, as you do. 1937 tax. Okay, these are all being researched. Resource gain efficiency. You know, it wouldn't be a horrible idea, but it's not thrilling. Could go for tanks. It could go for that, but we'll get stuff to make that cheaper later on. This is already at a discount. Let's get resource gain efficiency. Alright, I should probably set a focus. Federal Project 1, political power plus 5, research time minus 5%, hell yeah. Before the Public Works Administration can be fully organized, a set of cultural projects are planned by the President to revitalize the ideals of the American Republic. Looks like we got ourselves a Spanish Civil War. Ever since the defeat of Napoleon, Spain has been plagued by violence, dissent, and turmoil. No amount of pleading, deal-making, and appeasement has managed to do more than paper over the cracks as tensions bubbled. Finally, they boiled over. The Spanish kingdom has been ripped apart by a three-sided civil war between numerous factions. The Loyalists, the Madrid government, the supporters, the pretender Javier, and finally, the anarcho-syndicalist CNT-FAI. There are already numerous reports of volunteers and equipment being shipped from Spain from all other parts of the world to support one faction or another. Spain will be torn to shreds as a battlefield for ideological forces of the wider world. Greece has joined the Belgrade Pact. I love getting notified about that, actually. It's pretty cool. I could research that. That's ahead of time. We could start researching air doctrines. We could go down armor. Listen, you know, armor's not a complete waste. Medium armor is probably the way to go. We do, in the United States, have enough oil to really make that happen if we wanted to. Support companies are probably preferable for me right now. I like both of these. Field hospitals will be worthwhile in the long run. We're not using them right now, but why not? Foundation of the Belgrade Pact. Serbia, Romania, and Greece. Serbia, Romania, and Greece. 3 Balkan members of the Entente, all with revanche views of their own, have recently gathered to a common table of negotiations and announced the beginning of the Belgrade Pact. Can't say Belgrade and then Pact. Don't know why. While this pact puts a lot of focus on cultural discussion and preserving Balkan identities, it's also a military alliance between the participants, seemingly directed at the countries separating them and holding their ancestral lands. This new development is a big thorn in Bulgarian domination of the Balkans, but only the incoming reaction of other Central Powers can determine whether it will yield any fruit. Hopefully the Balkans won't start another world war. They won't. It'll probably be Switzerland. Or Spain, or the United States, actually. No, we're safe this time. this time. Our stake in Honduras. With the recent cessation popular discontent, the United States can once again look outward to pursue an effective foreign policy. As part of that, the United Fruit Company's executives have reached with us a disturbing news. The Popular Council that governs Honduras, just go ahead and Honduras, is currently under siege in their own government building by revolutionary socialists of a breed that nearly threw the United States into chaos. They're lobbying for intervention by our forces, and most likely Marines, sent in to shore up Jose Leon Castro, a well-regarded military man. There have been controversial proposal, however, we might send troops to assume more direct control of Honduran affairs. No, this Castro fellow seems like a safe bet. Nah. Dispatch Pedro Deval and his Marines in utmost secrecy. 1937 Dutch elections. The Netherlands have traditionally been one of the most politically stable nations in Europe. The Dutch people have, for years, been entrenched in their own institutional pillars, which have tended to undermine radical tendencies. Due to economic chaos caused by the Netherlands' close ties to Germany and Middle Europa, the rise of the far-left Red Front and nationalist VNH, the country's political situation is far more tense than it has been in many years. The coalition of conservatives and confessional parties that make up the CNA have once again won the election, albeit with a heavily diminished majority. Seeing the logic and taking advantage of the nationalist VNH hatred for the left and the Landwacht paramilitaries, the CNA has hitched its wagon to the far right. Dutch do love their elections. As we saw earlier, Japan did annex Korea and fight down that rebellion, to no one's great surprise. What the hell is happening in Honduras? Well, it looks like the socialists won. Though I got no follow-up event about that, so that's unfortunate. Maybe I should have backed? Whatever. If we come to blows with South America, Central America, not entirely unlikely, we'll get to it. So, Peru-Bolivian Confederation just declared war on Ecuador. Counter-revolution in Chile. Oh, this isn't even about the Ecuador war. That's apparently not important. Though Chile was once viewed as the most successful bastion of syndicalism and socialist values in South America, it appears that the regime now stands no more. Clear failings in leadership during the war against Argentina and the dire strategic situation facing the nation today led to a cabal of military officials seizing power in Santiago, and a number of key strongholds in the city across the country swiftly fell into their hands. Where Chile's path now lies remains uncertain, but it appears another junta rules in Latin America. For now, at least. Argentina won that war? Fucking what? How? I mean, good job. I'm just very confused. The Mozambique Bush War. Though there are some that believe the old-fashioned colonial wars are a relic of the pre-Weltkrieg era, recent events in Africa have shown that man's thirst for battle on the dark continent is not in any way in any danger of abating. Growing tensions between German Middle Africa and Portuguese colonies have degenerated in recent months from somewhat farcical disputes involving little more than cattle raiding into open conflict in Mozambique and Angola. With colonial troops and white officers on both sides waging fruitless guerrilla war is sure to cost many lives. Laval's assault fails, and a drastic turn of events that would seem the Marine Corps' attempt to seize direct control of Honduras has been pushed back. The revolutionary syndicalist socialist government massacring the Peasants' Council, declaring absolute independence. Some hardliners are arguing that back down now would be a show of weakness, while others say we should bide our times. Yeah, war. I cannot back down now. So we just grab our navy, and we convoy escort. Escort! Convoy escort. There and there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of you. Go join that.
All in.
You 4. Naval invasion from northern Texas. Godspeed. What do you mean, no divisions assigned?
Ready.
Wait, stop training. Get assigned. 10 divisions assigned. There we go. With 10 divisions, I think we outnumber them. Yeah, we outnumber them more than 3 to 1.
Ready.
Bum, bum, bum. Serbia has declared war on Bulgaria, and with that, we have the beginning of the Fourth Balkan War. A country was reborn in the Balkans after the Weltkrieg. Greater Bulgaria, the titan of the peninsula, uniting all Bulgarian lands and beyond. This kingdom for all Bulgarians was born with bloodshed and war, though defeating Serbia, Greece, and Romania in the Weltkrieg, a move that these three nations are still bitter about today. This tension led to the formation of the Belgrade Pact, and this see, I did it again. This alliance of Balkan states have declared war on the Tsardom, throwing the region into conflict yet again. Will Tsar Boris III save his nation from overwhelming force, or will his kingdom be divided once more? He's gonna get wrecked. That's what's gonna happen.
Yes, sir.
Bum, 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 bum.
Ready, sir. Lance.
Do we have a leader here? No, I guess not. Smedley Butler, you can lead this. Just train the troops. No policy set. So the FCC would give us air bases. Maritime Commission would give us more dockyards. Both of those are kind of nice. National Recovery Act, let's do that. The NRA emphasizes the use of the public domain in work-living units instead of cutthroat competition of regular contract workers in the NRA. Really, NRA, National Recovery Act. Yeah, I'm just so used to that being National Rifle Association. Will receive the benefit of minimum wage and price-controlled work environments and constant to the old company store model. That's horrifying. Company stores are abysmal abuses of power. But yeah, sure, don't worry about it. I have an airbase down here. Superiority for interception. Naval strike, I don't care about that. But let's start bombing Central America. The Romanian Civil War. The Kingdom of Romania. After the disastrous defeat in the Weltkrieg, days of Romanian monarchy were counted. After the death of King Ferdinand I in 1927, the crown went to his grandson Michael, who was soon forced to abdicate and was replaced by military dictatorship. The autocracy was soon replaced by nigh totalitarian rule of the Iron Guard. However, many people in Romania, most notably intellectuals, remained sympathetic to the monarchists, especially Ferdinand I's disgraced son, Karl. A group of pro-monarchist officers have defected and seized control of Bessarabia and Moldova. Sorry, Moldavia, not Moldova. They're close to each other. Moldova's like right here? Right? Is that Moldavia and Moldova? Bessarabia. Yeah, Moldova's here, Moldavia's okay, yeah, whatever. I lost my place. As a stage of operations for a monarchist restoration of the country, Romania now falls into a bloody civil war and no one knows how it will end. Either way, won't be good for the oil. Iron Guard Romania is now fighting a two-front war, which they can probably win, as Bulgaria is fighting a fucking three-front war. Well, two-front war as well, I suppose.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so in 2 months, we'll be ready to start landing in northern Honduras. To have a puppet state, because by God, we're America. And we're keeping these continents the hell out of war. the hell out of the Second Weltkrieg, if at all possible. We have a number of wars going on right now. Ecuador is trying to fight off the Peruvian-Bolivian Confederation, probably with little success. We are making plans on landing in the Socialist Republic of Honduras. The civil war in Spain rages on, though Madrid seems to be losing ground down here, gaining ground up here. Smart money is on the socialists, or the syndicalists winning. Saudi Arabia's joined the Cairo Pact. Sweden's devastating the Socialist Republic of Norway, or Norwegian Socialist Republic. Iron Guard Romania's winning the war on all fronts. Bulgaria's falling, though not in Greece. Doing pretty okay in Greece. Thessalonica not looking so hot. The formation of the Cairo Pact does not bode well for the Ottomans. 1937 text. What was the last thing I researched? What the hell am I doing? Oh, some of this. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said earlier, a little early for this. Artillery's pretty good. Anti-tank might be well if we face anyone who's using tanks at all. I'm just going to go ahead and research delay, as that will have an immediate benefit, even if not in time for this war, in time for the next one. Lord knows there probably will be a next one.
Listen up! Ready! Ready, sir!
Yeah, that's fine. I want you all to move down... Green order? Nope, to the other one. There you go. Yeah. Make a new army. Delete.
Fall in!
Delete that.
Attention!
I still want you hanging out down here. Still drilling. Still gonna assign to that. Who the hell do we assign you to? Out of supply, river. There are some rivers down here I want to contend with. Patton? Man, Patton's a hell of a guy. Sure, whatever. Patton probably has the highest skill of anyone. Really? Why the hell is he down here? What? Only skill 3, really? Really? Sort by this. Yeah, dude, fucking put Patton on the line.
Ready, sir!
You, Harding, can't get promoted. Arnold can, however. Arnold, I would love it. Absolutely love it if we got you Logistics Wizard and Offensive Doctrine. This will make it so that we have better organization when we're attacking. We'll require less supplies once we do make landfall.
Commands!
Harding, really? There's no way for you to promote? Oh, yes, there is. Yeah, there fucking is. A skirmisher probing attack isn't bad. Camouflage, let's give Fortress Buster. Just better attack against forts. Hopefully you'll get some promotion for leading infantry or organizer. Those would be very nice, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Landing in northern Honduras will be in less than a month.
Commands!
I'm going to stop the training with these armies so that supplies can make it to where they're actually needed.
Orders!
Although we do outnumber them 3 to 1, they probably have better weapon stores than we do, as we just upgraded everything, and I wasn't expecting to jump into another war right now. Syndicalism spreads to Burma, though the Norwegian Socialist Republic is gone. Following a string of poor decisions by the Burmese government, culminating in an order by the Royal Burmese Army to open fire on protesting students and workers, the entire country turned against the royalty. The newly founded National Council is now forming a new syndicalist government and is reportedly already considering looking outward for strong, like-minded allies. Bulgaria's doing alright. If they can take Greece out of the war, they are in really good shape. Labor Relations Act, Great Social Security. Okay, this benefits production, growth, factory output. Those are all nice things. This gives infrastructure. This gives a bunch of civilian workshops, or civilian factories. Yeah, Emergency Relief Act. If the government is taking charge to stop unemployment, we must start with local and state government. We can create and fund local governments to give unskilled positions to government offices. This also appeals to state government advocates as well. So more factories means more factories means more factories. Union of Burma has joined the Eastern Syndicalist Union. Oh, really? It's not named what it used to be named anymore. It's called the Eastern Syndicalist Union. Huh. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it definitely looks like this time around there's no war in Vietnam. Well, the Reichspakt have a lot of uncomfortable shit going on, but at least not that. Looks like they finished the Black Friday reforms, the Black Monday reforms. Greece has capitulated! Greek government has gone into exile and their main forces have capitulated to Bulgaria. Now in control of the home area. Oh, the Ottoman Empire are fighting alongside Bulgaria. Haha. Japan announces her ambitions. Though the situation in Japan has been critical over the peace with honor, numerous economic crises, unrest, and an ineffective response to German interventions in China, leading to the collapse of the autocratic Tanaka regime, the Empire of the Rising Sun managed to bounce back, albeit only as a regional power with limited influence in East Asia. However, the Japanese seem determined to put this weakness to rest, and have announced their ambition for seizing their place among the great powers once again, if forced by necessary. Germany, with its own sphere in East Asia, is unlikely to receive this news warmly. About 4 days we'll be making a move. India is at war. The Princely Federation... Oh, they're just taking out the Mysore state. Okay, fair enough.
Orders!
Large river crossing, division still planning. Listen, I know it's not ideal, but it's fine. Add in Florida coast so you get full coverage the entire time. They're fine. I'm not even aware if Honduras has a navy. They don't have a navy. So this is completely gratuitous, but that's okay. I'm expecting this war to be over immediately. Paraguay has made peace with Argentina. Tripolitania has joined the Cairo Pact. It's unfortunate, so they've dropped out of the war. The Ottomans have got to be hoping that this Fourth Balkan War ends quickly, and that they gain an ally in Bulgaria and maybe some lands down here in Greece. Otherwise, they are in some awkward territory. Paraguay is now a puppet of Argentina. Grand Peru now stands down here. I guess the name changed pretty quickly, huh? The Union of True Equals. Ecuador got knocked down a bit. Non-aggression pacts are getting cancelled. And today, we make landfall in Honduras.
Ready.
Alright, so bear with me right here.
Commands. Move out! Attention! Listen up! Move out!
Do Pathfinder go right there, Bayonet go right there. And that's this war. As soon as we win this war, and it should be very soon, call it a day. Well, I won't call it a day. I'll call it a video. Well, I'ma keep streaming. It is my way.
Yes, sir.
Now, we are out of supply here, to their credit. No, we got it. We're fine.
Move out!
I'm like, we may be fucked. We're not. We're not.
Moving back!
No, that's not so hot.
Listen up!
You're going here, then here. You are going... You're defending, but once you're done defending, I want you to go here.
Ready to move!
Yeah, you know, I listen. Not all the time, but sometimes. Kaiserreich just, pushed a new update, so this is a good excuse to play some Hoi 4. Like I said, I was feeling like things were played out, but now that there's new content, I'm back in the game. Literally. Metaphorically. Both. Hey, just push this. You go down here. Yeah, I know you're being clever about this AI. You really don't have to be. We outnumbered them. Our tech is better. Our troops are better. Their supplies are way better, but we're good. Emergency Relief Act is done. Hell yeah. Farmer relief, bunch of infrastructure I don't give a fuck about. Civil Works, let's do the CCC. Gain control. Gain National Spirit Civilian Conservation Corps. Resource gain efficiency and infrastructure construction speed bonuses. As a nation, America lost a great deal of labor supply to the fighting and poverty of the disorganized Federalists. The leader has pushed an executive order authorizing the creation of an agency to employ manual laborers to fill out the spaces in employment for NRA projects. And any day now, there we go. Honduras is following. So I'm just gonna take all the states here. Good day. And as soon as we get this sorted, I will... Yeah, fate of Honduras. Our armies have put down the Honduran government and are patrolling the capital. What do? Yeah, we restore a loyal state. We definitely don't occupy it. Boom. Hello, Jose Maria Moncada. Welcome back.
Attention! Listen up!
Yep. Alright. Well, that was a fun little holiday in Honduras. I'm gonna put in a cut here. I'm gonna keep streaming, naturally. So, yeah, we did avoid the Civil War, and now we're just reasserting our control over Central South America, trying to fix up our economy, and then we'll be looking outwards. But until next time, if you're watching on YouTube, this is it for today. Make sure to comment, share, like, subscribe, Twitch for YouTube, Alexandrian Codex, and all the things. Toodaloo, take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.